So you can just come towards the front of your mat. And for mountain pose, you can either have your feet about 2 inches apart, or you can have the big toes touching, whichever feels better for your body. It's completely up to you. Okay, so either way, lift the toes, spread them apart, and grip them down into the mat. Now I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see me. What we don't want to do is lock the knees back. So just have a very gentle bend. So it doesn't even look like I'm bending the knees, but just bend the knees slightly. That'll activate the quads and kind of pull the kneecaps up, taking out any hyperextension. From there, you can just come into a neutral pelvis, meaning your booty's not popping out, tailbone's not tucking under. You just want it neutral, okay? Then lift the rib cage up away from the pelvis, lengthening the spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears, arms by the sides. I like to have the palms facing the body. You can either be touching the body or the hands can be just a little bit away, either way. From there, reach through the back of the crown of the head, lengthening the spine, chin parallel to the ground. Find a gazing point, just looking out in front of you. Find somewhere to stare and really focus on that point. From here, start to breathe. You could take a couple cleansing breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth, setting the intention that you're just letting go of anything that was on your mind today, anything you brought with you onto your mat, letting that go for now. One more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Okay, now start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose if that feels okay for you. And we want to focus on deepening the breath. So we really want to get away from having a shallow breath. Whenever we're breathing shallowly, that can exacerbate overwhelm, stress, anxiety, anything like that. So think about drawing the lower belly very gently in and up. You're not sucking up, you're just gently drawing it in and up to direct the flow of energy up. So as you inhale, expand the ribs in every direction, front, back, and sides. And then as you exhale, soften, relax the face, relax the shoulders. Do that a couple more times. Breathing in as far as you can go without causing strain, and breathing out as far as you can go without causing strain. Relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the jaw. Good. Now exhale and push down into all 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Grab your left wrist. So grab your left wrist with your right hand, and then exhale, lean over to your right. Inhale, come up, switch wrists. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale up, reach both arms up. Exhale, fold. You can bend your knees so that you can tip your pelvis like you're pointing your tailbone up. Let your arms and head hang. Hands can come to your shins. Inhale, come halfway up for a flat back. It's called monkey pose. Exhale, fold over the legs. You don't need to touch the ground. Push into the feet. Look out in front of you. And then inhale, come up with a flat back. Reach the arms up overhead. Palms touch. Exhale, let the arms float down to the sides. Arms back by the sides. Now you're back in your mountain pose. Breathe here. Okay, let's do that whole sequence again. Inhale, reach your arms up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Exhale, lean to your right. Inhale up, switch wrists. Exhale, other side. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, fold. You can bend your knees, tip your pelvis, let your arms and head hang. Hands to your shins. Inhale, halfway up, reach the heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Push into the feet, look out. Inhale, rise up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, let the arms float down. Breathe, come back to your breath. Now I want you to think about how you want to feel after this practice. Why are you doing yoga? Is it to feel better in your body? Is it to feel more grounded, more calm? Is it to be happier? What is it? And then create an affirmation around that to use through today's practice. So on your inhale, think I am. And on your exhale, just put in that affirmation word. It could be happy, it could be calm, it could be centered, or I am feeling good, or my body feels good. Whatever resonates with you. Do that 2 more times with your breath. Good. Now, interlace your hands behind your back. This is called Yoga Mudra. And then start to do a big shoulder roll and lift your chest up. Now, try not to do a back bend right here. So yes, we're lifting the chest up, but I also want you to think about lifting the back ribs up. And then start to pull the hands away from the body without dumping forward. Okay, so keep the shoulders back, entire rib cage lifted, and reach the arms away from the body. Try not to jut the chin forward. Pull the chin back in space. Breathe here with your affirmation. Good. Now just release that. Do a couple shoulder rolls. My dog's making an appearance. Then interlace your hands behind your back in your non-dominant way. Do a big shoulder roll. Lift the rib cage. Pull the arms away from the back without jutting forward. Pull the chin back in space. Breathe. Try to bring your breath up into the rib cage. Expand the ribs as you inhale. Soften as you exhale. Two more breaths. One more. And release. Good. Do a couple shoulder rolls. Now, anytime throughout this class, feel free to take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can sigh or do whatever, okay? On your exhale, just let it go. Now from here, we're going to build a little bit of heat with chair pose. So you can, if you can, bring your big toes together to touch. Otherwise, keep your feet how they were for your mountain pose, up to 2 inches apart. Okay, bring your hands to your hips for now. Do a big shoulder roll. Inhale, lift the rib cage. And then exhale, start to sit back. Start to bend your knees and sit back like you're sitting into a chair. So what you don't want to do is have the knees come forward. So push the knees back so you can see your toes and your ankles. Push back, 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 and then hands to the heart. Try not to pop the booty out and try not to round the back. Okay, so you want a nice long spine. And breathe here. Extra points for smiling a little bit. Now inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold forward, and just let your arms and head hang. I encourage you to keep your knees bent because you can tip your pelvis forward, and that helps to lengthen and elongate the low back. Let your arms and head hang and just breathe here for a couple breaths. Good. Hands to your shins. Inhale, come halfway up, monkey pose. Exhale, fold over the legs. Push into the feet, look out in front of you, and then inhale, circle the arms all the way out and up overhead. Exhale, let the arms float down by the sides. Breathe. So just notice if you're feeling a little bit warmer after that pose. It's not a super challenging pose, like it's not hard to get into, but it can really build strength and build heat. So it's a really nice pose to bring into your practice, chair pose. From here, we're going to separate the feet out. So we're bringing them to a wide leg stance. So how we measure that is by bringing the arms out to the sides, point the fingers down, and you want the outside edges of the feet right below the fingertips. Okay. So usually a little bit wider than what you think. Bring your hands to your hips and then turn your right foot out. So the right heel is in line with the arch of the back foot, and then bend the right knee. Okay. So here we really want the right knee to be directly on top of the ankle. So you want to try to make it so it's not going past the ankle. So right on top of the ankle. Okay, and then level out the hips. Keep the knee back. Only open the back hip as far as you can go without the knee turning in. Then you can bring the arms up and then gaze out through the right middle finger. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook, I might look reversed, okay? But I am actually trying to mirror you guys, but in Facebook it flips me. So if I'm doing the opposite way than you are, just bear with me, okay? And breathe here. So again, right knees directly on top of the ankle, level pelvis, lift the rib cage, arms up, shoulders relaxed, gazing out through the right middle finger. This is warrior 2. Good. Now inhale, start to straighten the leg, but don't lock it. Exhale, reach out over the right leg, lengthening the side. Bring the right hand to the right shin. Left arm can go straight up, or you can bring it to your hip. Roll the top shoulder back, twisting the belly button open. This is called triangle pose. So you can bring this bottom hand down to wherever you can go, as long as you don't collapse and roll forward. So for most people, it's going to be right below the knee or even right above the knee. Breathe, relax the face. Good. Ground down into all four corners of the foot. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, let's switch it out. So turn the right foot in, left foot out, left heel in line with the arch of the back foot. So you might need to adjust a little bit. Bend the left knee. Left knee's directly on top of the ankle, not going past. The key here too is to not let the knee come in. Keep it right above the ankle and only pull the back hip back as far as you can go without the knee turning in. Level out the pelvis, lift the rib cage, arms up, gaze out through the left middle finger. Breathe here. Come back to your affirmation. Find a gazing point. Relax the face. Okay, and then inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, reach out over the leg, bring the left hand right below the knee, and then the right hand to the hip. Roll the top shoulder back and breathe here. Triangle pose. Again, top arm can be up if that feels good for you. Relax the face, forehead and jaw. And then ground down into the base of the front foot. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, let the arms float down. Now turn the foot in. We're going to go into a wide leg forward fold. So here you want the outside edges of the feet to be parallel to the short edge of the mat. Okay, bring your hands to your hips. Do a big shoulder roll. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, tilt forward. You can bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine like the monkey pose we were doing. And then exhale, fold. Let your arms and head hang loose. I like to keep the shoulders plugged in, but everything else just really letting lengthen and become heavy. Feel free to bend the knees if needed to tilt the pelvis forward slightly. Let the head hang loose. Good. Come halfway up. Inhale. Hands can be on the ground or the shins. Exhale, hands to the hips, ground down into the feet, and then inhale, rise up, find a gazing point all the way up so you don't get dizzy, and then exhale, heel toe the feet towards each other until you can come back to your mountain pose. Stand here and breathe. Find your gazing point. Come back to your affirmation. Let's come into our tree pose. So this is a really good standard balancing pose. Tree is in a super, super hard pose, especially if you do some different variations or modifications. So let's have a strong base in the left foot. So have your left foot down on the mat, lift the toes, spread them apart, grip them down. And then with the right heel, bring the right heel to the inner left shin. Okay, and then let the knee turn out slightly. You can have your hands to your hips. Then bring your hands to your heart and breathe here. Really grounding down into all four corners of the feet. Find a gazing point. This will help you to balance and focus and hold there. Don't hold your breath though. Just going to come up and see if somebody said we can't hear you. Okay, good. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Thanks for being on, hon. So if you feel super awesome here, only if you feel super awesome here, then you can slide the foot up to the calf. If you need more of a challenge, you probably know where to go. Otherwise, just keep it here, okay? Now, breathe. Find your gazing point. If you feel wobbly, it's totally normal. And if you fall out of it, just come back to it. It's so much more, really, I think, about the self-talk and what happens in between the poses rather than like getting the perfect pose. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Okay, and release and walk it out. I know that's contrary to popular belief, but there's no such thing as a perfect pose. And by being able to do advanced poses doesn't necessarily make you an advanced yogi, right? You might not have known that, but that's true. Okay, so on your right foot, lift your toes, spread them apart, grip them down. Okay, so the hips are pretty much pointing forward. The left hip will turn out a little bit because the knee's turning out. Okay, stay there with the toes on the ground, or if you feel really, really solid and stable, slide it up to the calf. Okay, make sure you're not slouching. Pretend that there's a string attached to the back of the crown of the head, and it lengthens. Hands can be to the heart center. Relax your face, find your gazing point, and come back to your affirmation. Little smile, never hurt anybody. Sometimes I forget. So whenever I'm telling you guys that, I'm just saying it because I need to do it. And it does have a pretty instant effect on your energy and release. Walk it out. Okay, awesome. Come up towards the front of your mat. Coming into your standing mountain pose feet. Exhale, push down into all four corners of the feet. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. You can bend your knees, tip your pelvis forward, let your arms and head hang. Hands to your shins. Inhale, come halfway up to monkey pose. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and then exhale, step back to downward facing dog. If you're not sure how to do this, come down to your hands and knees, stand tall on your knees, and watch me. Okay, so you want to make sure that your knuckles are pushing down into the mat. Don't let them come up. Push into your knuckles and send your hips up and back. So you're in a straight line from the wrists all the way up to the hips. Okay, breathe here. Roll the shoulders away from each other and roll the forearms in, just to keep the knuckles heavy. Take some breaths here, maybe some cleansing breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just letting go of anything you worked up to the surface today. This might be a challenging pose for you. If so, that's totally normal. It's a really good strengthening pose and stretching pose. It's really good for the low back. I would just recommend to bend the knees so you can tilt the pelvis forward to get a long spine. One more breath. Whew. All right, now come down to your hands and knees and we'll move into a modified child's pose. So bring your knees as wide as the mat, uncurl the toes, and bring the big toes together to touch. Start to bring your hips back towards the heels. You might not sit all the way back like me. That's okay if you're lifted a little bit. Then I like to bring my fingers into a triangle. So the pointer fingers touch and the thumbs touch, elbows out to the side, forehead down to the ground, or stack the fists and place the forehead to the top fist if the other modification doesn't feel good. Now here's where we're going to start to change the breath a little bit. So as you exhale, just really exhale as far as you can go comfortably without causing strain. So ideally what we'll do is have the exhale be a couple counts longer than the inhale. Okay, so see how long your inhale takes. Maybe it's 4 or 5 counts, something like that. And then as you exhale, let your exhale be 1, 2, or 3 counts longer than your inhale. So do that for a couple rounds. If child's pose is not working for you, come to seated either in a chair or just on the floor. We're going to do this just for a couple rounds. Relax the face, relax the body as much as possible. Good. And then slowly come up to the hands and knees. And then we're gonna come to seated. So here's where you could come to seated in a chair. That would be totally fine, okay? Even like if you have a recliner or something, that would be fine. Otherwise, come to a cross-legged pose on the floor or onto a block or bolster, something like that, okay? So the reason why I like to do this is so that we have what I call a neutral pelvis. So you don't wanna be sitting down with your back rounded like this, and it's rounded because the tailbone's tucking under, okay? So you want a neutral pelvis so that the tailbone is just more in a anatomically neutral position, okay? So your spine's nice and long, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. That's why most people, it's gonna feel better and it's gonna be easier if you sit up on a block. But if you sit in a chair, just bring both feet flat on the floor, okay? So coming into an easy cross-legged pose. Now we're gonna go into a hip stretch. So from here, just kind of pull the flesh away from the sitting bones and start to tip your pelvis forward. Hands can be on the knees or come down to the ground, but you need to keep your spine long, no rounding of the back, okay? So I'm gonna turn sideways, you stay there. You might not need a block, but you need to be able to tip the pelvis forward. If the tailbone's tucking under, your back will be rounded. Okay, and then slowly come up. Now look at what leg's in front because the other leg's gonna go in front next time. Now extend your legs out. You can just shake it a little bit from side to side. Cross the legs. Other leg goes in front. Big shoulder roll. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, tilt the pelvis. Hands onto the knees or onto the ground. On your inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tilt the pelvis. Keep the shoulders plugged in. Tuck the chin slightly. Breathe. Good, and slowly come up. Let's extend the legs out again. Rock them a little bit from side to side. Okay, cross the legs again, other leg in front. So now what we're gonna do is a simple cat-cow. So hold on to the knees. As you inhale, arch the back, look up. Exhale, round the back, chin towards the chest. Inhale, arch the back. So it's like a back bend. Exhale, round the back. Do 3 more. 2. Last one. And 3. Come back to neutral. Take a cleansing breath or 2. You can close your eyes. Notice how you feel. Lower your head slightly, blink your eyes open, and lift your head. Okay, so now lay onto your back, move your block out of the way. Extend your left leg flat on the mat and draw your right knee in towards your chest. This is a really good stretch for the low back. Now from here, just gonna cross it over the body. So I like to actually shift my hips over to the right and then cross the knee over to the left. Try to keep both shoulders on the ground. The knee's probably not gonna go to the ground. That's okay. Just a very gentle twist here. Good, and come back to center. Left leg in, right leg out. Draw the left leg all the way in, the left knee all the way in. And breathe here. Okay, and then bring the foot down, shift the hips over to the left. Let the knee fall over to the right. Keep breathing. Come back to your affirmation. Okay, and come back to center. Draw both knees in towards the chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. You can even round up. Okay, and then bring the feet down onto the mat. Extend the legs straight out, arms by the sides, hands a little bit wider than the mat. Let the feet fall out to the sides. Just taking a short Shavasana here. Letting everything you just did during your practice assimilate body, mind, and spirit. You're always welcome to turn the camera off now or turn the video off now and set a timer for a longer Shavasana. But otherwise, we'll do a short one together, so eyes are closed. And with each exhale, just relax a little bit more and a little bit more, letting go of any tension. Let the ground carry your body weight. Just enjoy these last couple moments here in stillness in Shavasana. And start to deepen your breath. Maybe take a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And bring some movement back to the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. You can reach your arms overhead and your feet in the opposite direction for a full body stretch. And bend your knees and roll over onto your right hand side using your right arm for a pillow. Just take a couple breaths here. And with the strength of your arms, slowly push yourself up to seated. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Come back to an easy cross-legged position if that feels okay for you. Feel free to sit back onto your block or whatever you have. Pull the flesh away from the sitting bones so you have a neutral pelvis, nice long spine. And have the palms open on the knees, chin parallel to the ground to lengthen the back and the spine. Come back to your breath here with your eyes closed if that feels okay, and just notice how you're feeling now at the end of your practice. So that's what we call it in yoga. It's a yoga practice because we're only practicing. It's never going to be perfect, and that is okay. Good. And then circle your hands together in front of your heart into prayer. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then bow your head to where it feels good for you. Bring your thumbs from your heart center up to your forehead, acknowledging the energy that's within you, around you, connects us all together and never goes away. That energy within me acknowledges that energy within you. And I thank you so very much for letting me guide you through your practice today. Namaste.